Hi everyone, Tim here at Pacific Coast Trains with another rolling stock update. Even though I have a huge number of projects that are halfway done, or 3/4 or 1/4 of the way done, I have managed to get a few things finished to my satisfaction over the last month or so, so I thought I'd share a few of those. First up is an Athearn FMC boxcar that I'd actually painted some time before. I'd stripped it down and repainted it as a East Erie commercial short line boxcar. But I went ahead and actually updated some of it. I gave it a little bit more of the sort of grime, as you can see on the sills, and just a little bit more streaking down the doors. Before it was a little plain and two-dimensional. Now I think it actually looks a whole lot better, put a little more detail on the ends. And then again on this side, went ahead and gave the doors just a little bit more rust in certain spots and gave it a little bit more texture and a little more depth. So it's actually now much more like the filler car that I was hoping to have when I did it a long time ago. Next up is a Branchline Berwick car painted for Sabine River and Northern 9328. Found a picture of this side of the boxcar online, so went ahead and tried to recreate this as best as I could. Found it on our picture archives. I think it was from St. Louis, which also has some appeal to me. Stripped the car down. I think it came as Chicago Northwestern. Stripped the car down, repainted it from scratch, used some of the smoke box graphics, safety striping, and lube plates. Hand painted the graffiti and added, of course, a whole ton of rust and dings and pits per the prototype photos. This side is a little bit more freelance, but again, use some of the graffiti images from cars that you can find on various modeling websites. Pretty happy with the way this car turned out. It's a nice filler. The roof got decent treatment. Really didn't do too much to it other than had the base gray, and then in the centers of the panels added some raw umber washes to kind of bring out some of the detail. So also pretty nice car. Next is an Athearn FMC 4700 labeled for BN. This car I kept more or less as it was out of the box, but did some heavy fading to the panels with some acrylic washes, darkened up the ribs as occurs on some of the prototypes, and then hand drew in some graffiti as well. You can see on the roof, added a little bit of texture and color to that. Ends got addressed a bit, and then on the other side, same treatment, got the lightening of the panels. This one has a little bit more rust streaking in various spots that I wanted to go reasonably light on this. And then, of course, a decent amount of tagging across the bottom, as is often the case with these. Finally is another Athearn FMC 5347 boxcar. This one labeled for the UP Shortline BKTY. Lots of these cars running around out in the world today. This one, again, I stripped down using isopropyl alcohol, gave it a bath and a scrub, and then started to repaint it. I actually have a couple of pictures of cars that are in this sort of yellowish tinge. I don't know who the original owner would have been, but labeled on some prototype graffiti, weathered on top of that to fade that a bit, and then started putting in some of the rust pitting and some of the streaks and so forth that you can see across the car. Add to the door, flip this around, and you can see the side B. Again, a tag that is been washed over and faded, left the ribs reasonably clean to add a little bit of depth, and also prototype tag hand painted. The roof for this one, I added a little bit of the sealant that is sometimes applied around the weld seams and sort of the panel seams that is common on some of these cars. This car has some of those. The other box cars, as you can see from the fleet, I've not added that same treatment to those. Again, adding some variety, so when you actually line these things up as a string, they start to look pretty good together. I have found that sort of one car by itself may or may not look all that great, but when you start to combine them into a group, you start to see, oh yeah, this is starting to look pretty good. So anyway, just a short update on some of the things I finished. I'll have more updates when we get a little further along with some of the projects. In the meantime, happy late spring, early summer to everyone. Hope everyone's staying safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.